Welcome to Futurelooks. I'm Eric. I'm going to be your quick host for checking out a custom-built system made by our friends at Puget Systems here in Auburn, Washington. Code name of today's system is Serenity, and I'll show you why it carries that name. Alright, here we have the Serenity. It doesn't look like a whole lot up front, but it is in a Antec P183 case. However, Puget Systems takes it just a bit further, and they've added their own sound dampening measures to help cut back on noise. The real magic, once you take the chassis apart, is you see some more of Puget Systems engineers' ideas. Here you see that they've added some sound dampening materials to the right side panel, and they've added some sound dampening material also to the left side. To live up to the Serenity name, both in noise and cooling performance, engineers have used a Tranquillo made by Jalid Solutions. Underneath is a Intel Core 875K processor, and it's an unlocked core as well. The reason being is that while the Core i7-900 series are quite quick, that one's more of a middle. The 875 is more for the mainstream enthusiast who dabbles a little bit in everything without having to sacrifice too much performance. Also inside the system is 8 gigabytes of Kingston 1333 RAM. Since the fans are a little tall these days, there was no shame in using some more mainstream budget-oriented Kingston 1333 without the RAM spreaders. This particular build sports 2 ATI HD 5770 1 gigabyte video cards. The nice thing about these is they're completely passive. There's no fan on these, therefore there is no noise, and everybody knows how today's graphics cards have been what you've been hearing most in the news. Not so much always the performance, but a lot of the noise. Down low we have a 1000 watt CP series from Antec. It's a CP1000. Sports a rather large 120 cooling fan as well. The nice thing about that is it's helps create a wind tunnel down here at the bottom, where normally you would see a fan up front. It's not really needed. The extra cost isn't needed, so that 120 fan will create the wind tunnel here. The 120 fan uninstalled from the front, it's actually installed farther back, which is a feature of the Antec P183. And doing this allows a wind tunnel straight across the video cards and out the back. Now the top fan is actually omitted. There is not one, and it's actually closed off. The reason why is the wind tunnel actually weakens with that top fan open, and we've seen this in our tests here at Futurelooks on more than one occasion. So all of the air quickly escapes this chassis through the back. Last but not least, we have a 80 gigabyte Intel SSD and a 2 terabyte Western Digital Caviar Green. Nice thing about the Western Digital is such low power even for their size. SSDs naturally hardly require anything, but that large 2 terabyte remains quiet even under full load. So as you can see, this system is designed for one thing: mainstream performance, plenty of video power if you're into games, yet plenty of memory if you're into something else like rendering your own movies, creating your own audio files, and not having to worry about noise. Now this system has been rated to about 14 dB at idle desktop. One of my favorite features about Puget Systems is their documentation from start to finish, both with build, assembly, testing, different phases of testing, thermal testing, you name it. They've listed who packaged it. They have a very strict quality control, and it makes you feel real confident when you're actually purchasing something like this. They also test the system in normal mode ahead of time for you, using tests like burn-in tests, crystal disk mark, even go as far to use a Windows Experience Index for you, and they test 1RPG Terran Conflict X3. They also test Dirt 2, which is kind of one of the more commonly played game engines now. In this particular case, the average build scene for in normal frequencies was 131 frames per second. The engineers overclocked at 3.7, which is how it shipped, and it scored an average of 159 frames per second. So it was a noticeable gain compared to the normal settings. Pushing higher, of course, you have that option, though keep in mind you might be voiding your warranty if something goes wrong. Now, all of the extra items that come with the motherboard have usually been tossed in the past by integrators. However, you can see here these guys take that quite seriously. You have every option right down to your motherboard stickers, anything that came with maybe a power supply, video cards. All of the discs and documentation are here for your motherboard as well. Any of the driver CDs, extra cables, power cables, your DVI, VGA to DVI connectors, the extra cables that come with the Antec CP1000, all the motherboard accessories that you could possibly need, including the rest of the case options, and of course the adapter bracket for the P183 if you go with a smaller power supply. So again, these guys take quality control extremely seriously, and it's quite impressive to see someone go through this much detail to give you this kind of peace of mind when you're buying a system these days.